Hi, welcome to Retire Earlier and Better at Home or Abroad, whatever suits you best. And today we're doing the EXPAT News Flash once again. What's on the agenda for the EXPAT News Flash? I love giving our take on these news bits. Or just reacting.
Yeah, reacting's fun.
Reacting to the... Let's do that.
France is on strike. Macron raised the retirement age to 65 from 62, and they're protesting in the streets, and it's shut down transportation.
Oh, wow. I mean, the same thing happened in Panama. I think it was about a year or two ago. I don't remember when it was, but it's like, okay, don't these things only happen in Latin America? But it looks like people are the same, whether they're in Latin America or in Europe. Human nature is the same, and the way that people are reacting to this kind of thing is universal. Some things are just absolutely universal.
I remember you and I walked right through the protesting, and they were burning stuff.
In Panama.
In Panama, yeah.
What are they burning? I don't know, but it's for New Year's. Yeah, we were right in the middle of it. We didn't know it was happening. Had we known, we wouldn't have stayed there at the hotel, but we had paid for a month. As it turned out, it didn't progress to a violent level.
Okay, this is a peaceful protest. It says no to the raising of the age of retirement. That's what one of the signs says.
I have heard this before through the years. Oh, don't worry about Latin American protests, just don't get involved in politics and just stay away from them. And they usually clear up, and they usually do, but there's no prescription to this. I mean, the things can get out of hand at any time. So absolutely good advice to stay away from them if you can, but sometimes you just get stuck in them.
Right, because they're not about you anyway, it's about the citizens, you know, the retirement age.
But raising the retirement age, yeah, you would think it was about the kind of different things that cause these protests but lately it's been about austerity measures. Yeah, they have the same thing in Argentina, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Okay, this one is about the Philippines and an expat forum, a very popular one, about the expat crime and news. Do you remember what I told you about that? They are telling people, they're warning them that this is about crime and negativity of the expats and things that happen to them in the Philippines. That's what this whole forum is about.
I think what you're saying is an expat forum is telling people, look, if you can't handle quote-unquote negativity, don't come to the forum, because the whole purpose of the forum is, like you said, to warn people of the crimes that are happening against foreigners and expats.
Which you would want to know.
You would want to know because you are the target, you are the foreigner, you're the expats, but apparently some expats are going on there and maybe complaining or just, I don't know what they're doing, but so they now have a warning, you know, if they're expecting everything, you know, everything to be rose-colored glasses. The forum specifically was created to tell people what the real crime rates are. Thank you for doing that, whoever is doing that. We're going to tell it to you what the crime is. That's why we're doing this. And so if you don't want to hear it, don't come here. Some people just don't want to know the truth. They don't want to know what's happening. And
yeah, but it will affect them if they go abroad and they happen to do the same thing that expat happened to do.
They won't escape any of the consequences by ignoring it. It's just a reaction. It's a putting your head in the sand kind of reaction, and just,
I think it's an excellent forum to have, actually. If I was going to the Philippines, I'd be on that forum.
Sure.
I want to know what kind of crimes are happening.
Just the idea that somebody decided to start such a forum is a great service to the community, because, as I've said in other videos, crime is not a feeling, it's about facts and a collection of facts. And that's what they're doing. They're putting the facts in a collection of facts in a place where you can get them, and that is brilliant.
It's a good
brilliant,
idea,
actually. So
it's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, this one is interesting, I thought. According to the Pattaya News, the cold weather snap that has been happening in Thailand, it's just outside of Pattaya in a place called, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Samut Prakan. It's a town or a little village. Hundreds of fish have died because it's so cold in Thailand right now. They're having a cold front and it's not going away. The article is saying more cold weather ahead. The fishermen said that if the weather doesn't change, this is going to affect seriously in a big way the livelihood of the villagers in that town.
Well, that's pretty amazing news because, well, Thailand, if you've never been there, is a really hot tropical weather. I mean, it's really hot there. If it's usually around 90 or 100 degrees, 60, 60, 65 is a cold front.
For the tropical fish, it will kill them because they're not used to that kind of...
Yeah, I've done aquaponics experiments, and so I did a lot of study on that, and there are tropical fish that if it gets below, 75 degrees, to them it's like you getting below freezing, they will die. Thailand had a kind of tsunami a few years ago. I remember following that, and it was very devastating to the country. And I don't remember them reporting any kind of a cold front like this. So I don't know, because it's cold weather. So it's the complete opposite of warm weather, or trying to blame it on some kind of warming. Or... Now, I'm no expert on that stuff, but it's just nature will do what it's going to do. That's what I know just from being a gardener, and aquaponics, and nature will do what it's going to do. So I just wondered though whether there's our governments tampering with nature, because I know I've heard that I've read that there's I mean, they have such amazing technology nowadays. You just wonder how the technology is being used. And I know that they were blowing up bombs in the ocean, for testing purposes and stuff that you don't hear very much about, but when you do things like that, it's going to, have some kind of effect on something in nature. Blowing up bombs on the bottom of the ocean floor, You just don't know nowadays.
I think that they said those could cause tidal waves.
Tidal waves, right, yeah.
Because it causes earthquakes under the ocean waters. Okay, and the next one is the countries in 2019 that were most searched on Google.
Countries for travel and visiting? Yeah,
exactly.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, what is Google saying? People are, what is trending? That's what we're talking about.
Well, on
Google.
This is the top 10 countries that were mostly searched on Google in 2019, starting with Maldives, Japan, Bora Bora, which is French Polynesia, Las Vegas, Mexico, Alaska, New Orleans, California, New York, and Costa Rica. A lot of U.S. cities in that. That's interesting. Yeah. Well, if I was a foreigner, I would want to go visit New York and Las Vegas. And I mean, I did all those things when we were in the States. We did all those things already. So really, you see a lot of these people that are contemplating retiring abroad, and yet they haven't even visited their own country. And we've always said before that we've already done all of that. It's part of our retire early lifestyle, early retirement lifestyle, that we were able to do these things when we were still young enough to do them and enjoy them. So it's interesting that even foreigners want to be doing those things. So how much more should somebody, don't take your own country for granted, That's what happens.
So
New Orleans was awesome.
The great thing about North America is that it's really huge compared to a lot of these other countries. In a lot of these other countries, they're just really, really microscopic compared to the U.S., to North America. So North America has a lot of different variety of things going on. So yeah, it's really amazing. I'm really happy to have the retire early lifestyle early on, and to be able to do that travel and see it. So more power to those foreigners that want to go to the USA and check it out. This is not a plug for USA, by the way. This is not a plug for North America, because we don't favor any one place over another. Each place has its own pros and cons, and we will talk about a few more of those on this Expat News Flash. What else is on the agenda? On Argentina, some of you may know that just a few months ago, Argentinians voted out the then current president, and they voted him out because they didn't want the austerity measures to get the country back on track. You know, they wanted more handouts and more socialism. That's what they voted for, and it caused a pretty big crash in the stock market. And Bloomberg is reporting that the Argentinian peso is and was the worst performing currency in the world this year. However, when I looked into it, I noticed that the Argentinian peso has been on a slide since from 5 years ago, from back in 2013 or so. And it has performed very badly, not just this year. It has, for example, gone from 5 pesos all the way to, from 5-6 years ago to over 50 pesos, a 10-fold slide in purchasing power. Interestingly enough, though, this is not the part, Bloomberg doesn't go into this side of it. This is from our response to that. Interestingly enough, though, the stock market, the Argentinian stock market, has also increased during the same period of time while the currency was sliding, and it has slid tenfold. The stock market has gone up tenfold in the same period of time, about 5 years, which, by the way, outperforms the U.S. stock market.
Really?
Because the U.S. stock market has 2.5x. Since then, almost a 3x. The Argentinian stock market has 10x during the same period of time. Interestingly, putting the dots together, you can see how the money interests will manipulate the currency in their own favor. So clearly, because of the stock market. So the people get socialism and sliding purchasing power. When the people are losing purchasing power, they vote in socialism. And that's what I learned from things like this. Mm-hmm. But the vested money interests get richer. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. You've heard it before. But it's interesting because Bloomberg says that the currency is the worst performing in the world, and yet this is the other side of the story. So tenfold on the stock market. Wow.
Good news.
Yeah, if you were an insider, right? And by the way, there's more to talk about that, which we won't do in this video because this is a news flash video, but there's also people in this sphere trying to time the market and play currency trader with foreign property. It's possible, but it's not a game for the faint of heart and for people that are new to it, All right, and the next thing is, this is New York Harbor being the cleanest it has been in 110 years. This was amazing news to me because of the details of it. I know that when I was a teenager in Cleveland, Ohio, I know back then Lake Erie was very polluted. And I know that recently, though, that area has had a resurgence, that it has been cleaned up. I don't have personal experience in New York Harbor, but I'm comparing it to what happened in Lake Erie. And they're saying that they were, like, say, compared to 5 years ago, they were seeing like maybe, I don't know, a handful of whales. So the New York Post says that the reason this was happening is because of the really fast increase in population from the 19th century and 20th century. The city went from like 60,000 to over 4 million. Yeah. But the difference is that New York Harbor was a nature paradise before this increase. But with the increase in population, the pollution increased, and it just, all of the nature just died because of the waste that it's thrown into the harbor. And what's interesting about the article is that it says that this is normally what you see in developing countries, and that's the connect the dots to the live abroad thing. Yes, that is what you see in developing countries. You see that very same thing, but it isn't necessarily because of huge and quick population increases, although they have those too this day and age thanks to internet promotions. It's just because of mismanagement. And the interesting part about this news flash is now they're seeing like a difference between like 5 or 6 whales a year. They're seeing over 200 whales a year now, and a lot of other nature, like huge 700-pound sturgeon fishes that they weren't seeing before, and all because of the smaller fish that are able to flourish, that are the food supply of these bigger fish. So the bottom line, that the whole picture, the nature picture, is improving because of the cleanup. So I'm really excited to hear this, because you have a cleanup that they're saying that it didn't happen just because of regulation. It happened because the people said enough's enough. We want a clean harbor, and and it's saying that that's what it takes, is for the people to put their foot down and say no more. And it's just an amazing.
It's got a whole new ecosystem.
It's got a whole new ecosystem. It's returning back to,
that's nice.
And what it once was, which was a real nature paradise when there were just a lot less people there. So yeah, I'd love to see the whole world just be a nice, clean nature paradise, and unfortunately, that's just not the case. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, thumbs it up. Give us feedback on what you thought about the news flashes. They do want to hear positive stuff. We did talk about the Argentinian stock market, and had you had the foresight to invest in that, what a great way to get your retire early and better lifestyle.
There you go.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next news flash.